Why is it that so many people decide now is the time to get into the real estate market? Not only to maybe sell a house or look for a house, but I'm talking about individuals who want to become realtors. It's The Real Estate Show. Welcome to The Real Estate Show. My name is Rick Naples. For those of you that have been watching, you know I've been a realtor for a number of years. So I've had an opportunity to watch the markets change, to get better, to get worse. Different challenges come along, not only in performing the real estate business itself, but I've seen attacks on the business as far as laws are concerned, changes in disclosures, and so on and so forth. It always amazes me that once we get through the spring and the summer season and we start to see more homes come on the market, we also start to see an influx of people who decide to get their real estate license. Now, the state of Connecticut, the state that we're in, has made it a little bit more difficult to get a real estate license than it was in the past. If you're looking to get your license to sell real estate, you're required to take 60 hours of classroom study. Now, that's a course that goes over principles, practices, and real estate law. And once you get through that course, you then subsequently have to take a test to pass the course to give you the option or the permission to go ahead and go to the state and take your real estate test to get your license. Once you get your license, now things really start to happen, because not only are you now a licensed real estate agent, but you have to decide if you want to become a real estate agent, a realtor, or possibly look at the future and become a broker. I'm going to put together on this show just a number of little presentations to give you hints about the real estate transaction and some fun stuff to take a look at. And as we go through the show, I'll talk a little bit about the challenges there are in becoming a realtor in today's market. As I said, when you become a realtor, you've gone through several hours of class time training. You've taken a test. You're up on all the real estate law, the principles and the practices and performing the position. But you also have a commitment not only to work with buyers and sellers that are looking to get into the real estate transaction, but also to understand what the real estate industry is all about. And this is a continuing education process. I've been a realtor, as I said, for many years. One of the basic requirements is you have to take continuing education, just like in many trade fields, to keep yourself up to date on what's going on, and to also keep you, I guess the best way to describe it is on your game, so you can provide the best information and the best service to the people that you're working for. But you do find that there are a lot of realtors out there that just do the basics. Some go a little bit further. Now, I was talking about on one show the differences between a real estate agent, a realtor, and a broker. Now, very simple, folks. Someone who's a real estate agent is one who's gone through the courses, taken the test, gotten the education, and got a real estate license. They can now be involved in real estate transactions, representing people in the selling of their homes and also in buying of homes. Then you have the realtor. Now, what's the difference between a realtor and a real estate agent? Well, a realtor's gone a little bit further than the real estate agent. The realtor has joined the National Association of Realtors, their state association of realtors, and usually a local association of realtors. And they also belong to the multiple listing service, which is a service that I've described before, where they can go and find a number of different houses that are for sale, contact information, data information, and also set up appointments to go look at those houses. One quick point about the multiple listing service. A lot of you out there have talked to me in the past about using other search sites. There's some big ones out there. Realtor.com is one of the biggest ones. Zillow is another one, and a few others. One of the things that you need to know about those sites is that they feed their information off of what the multiple listing services have to offer. So you have to constantly be aware of what that information is, and is that information real time, and is it really accurate? I always say to folks that look at those sites, since you're not working with a realtor yet, always make sure that you call a realtor so they can check to see if that particular home is still available or not. Because sometimes those sites won't update as quickly, although I am hearing they have gotten better with technology. Some of the sites now are updating every single day. Some of them even go as far as to update every single hour. But a realtor uses that title because they become a member of the National Association of Realtors. What this means is that they will aspire to uphold an established code of ethics in the way that they conduct their business. And they have to take the oath to that. And that's the only reason why they can call themselves a realtor, as well as continuing their education. Now, what's the difference between, say, a realtor and a broker? Well, a broker is an individual who has gone even further in their education. They first got their real estate agent's license, then they became a realtor. Now, after a period of time and a number of transactions and an education level, they now decide to become a broker. A broker is one who has the ability under the law to open up a real estate office and have real estate agents or realtors work in that office under their broker license. This is an individual who not only has real estate training, but also has the knowledge and the capabilities of running an independent business. Let me step back a little bit. A lot of folks that get into real estate don't realize that it's not a salaried position. You don't get an hourly wage, you don't get a paycheck every single week. It is what they call an independent contractor relationship. So even though you get your real estate license and you're licensed and working under a broker situation, you're independently employed. That means as a self-employed person, you are responsible for all of the costs of your business. You're responsible for your own taxes. You're responsible for your own health insurance. You're responsible for any retirement plan that you want to put together, and so on and so forth. And this is why a lot of folks will get their real estate licenses and assume they're automatically going to fall into a lot of ability to make money. And they find that it's not an easy business to be in, that it's very competitive. And a lot of folks will get their real estate licenses and not really practice real estate. It kind of goes on a shelf someplace and they'll drop out of the business because they have other endeavors that they're involved in. But putting all that aside, becoming a realtor means that you've made the commitment to not only keep yourself educated as to what's going on in the real estate markets, but also to provide a level of service that's one cut above everything else that's out there. Let's take a look at this, and I'll be back to talk a little bit more about being a realtor. I've had the opportunity over the years of holding different positions with the local Realtor Association that I belong to, as well as having a seat as a director on the state association. I get an opportunity to see a lot of things that go on, either in the local industry or in the state industry, and also hear a lot of stuff that goes on nationally. I recently had the privilege of conducting what's called a new member orientation. You know, when you become a realtor, you're required to join the three boards: the National Association, the Connecticut Association, and a local association. And the local association is a board of your choice. Usually realtors will pick a board that's close to the area that they do all their marketing in. But in my particular case, because I had served as a past president and was also fortunate enough in 2016 to be selected by my peers to be their Realtor of the Year, I have the opportunity to conduct these orientations. Now, the orientation is a 3-hour class. Now, if anyone has done any public speaking out there, or if anyone's watching that's a teacher or has been a teacher, or anyone who's been an instructor, you know how difficult it is to stand up in front of a group of people and talk for 3 hours. It's not an easy chore. But I've done it a number of years and I've got quite used to it. And I try to make it entertaining as well as informative to the folks that are in. The last one I did had roughly 15 people. These 15 individuals had just gone through their principles and practices and law courses, passed their course, went to the state, took their licensing exam, and got their license. Now they've joined the local association and they're required by law or by the way things are organized to go through this orientation. In the orientation, the realtors they become aware of the different things that the National Association, the State Association, and the local associations offer them in conducting their business. We also talk about different things as far as education and designations or certifications that they can go through and earn. We talk about realtor safety, which is very important. Just as a side note, I'm going to show in a few minutes here the realtor safety video. I like to put that on the real estate show once in a while because it has some very good points into it as to how the realtors conduct their business, and also makes you aware of the things that you need to do to keep everybody safe. We also talk about the multiple listing service. We talk about what happens when realtors have disagreements. We talk about what happens when a client has a disagreement with their realtor. We talk about a number of different things as we go through this situation. But the fun part is when I start the orientation meeting, I have brand new people to the business. Some of them have not yet been involved in a real estate deal or transaction. Sometimes, depending on the timing of the orientation, they've gotten their license, they've been able to do a transaction or two before they get to the orientation. But in most cases, these folks have not done a real estate transaction. So the fun part that I have is at the very beginning, I have everybody in the room introduce themselves. Just first name, last name is not important at this point, but just first name. And I have them tell me in their own words why they decided to become a realtor. And it's very interesting to hear the different opinions or ideas that come along. Some are very blunt and they say, hey, I wanted to get into the business because I want to make a lot of money. Some of them say, I got into this business because I want to be self-employed and control my time. And I can do a whole show on time management because really when you're a realtor, you don't have much control on your own personal time. Some of them will say that they feel that they want to be involved in a service industry and work with people, helping them achieve their dreams of home ownership. And others have many other reasons. I've even got reasons why, well, my dad was a realtor or my mom was a realtor, so I thought I'd become one. Things along that lines. If you talk to that same group of people a year later, their reasons change because now they get a little bit of experience under their belt. But as I said, there are the real estate agents, there are realtors, and then there are the brokers. Now, right now in our state, at last count, we had over 17,000 licensed realtors that belong to our state association. That doesn't count the amount of people that have real estate agency licenses that are not realtors. So I always say you can almost double that number. Now, are all those people actually out there involved in listing and selling homes? A lot of them are not. There's a good few that are. You usually, when you drive around town and you see real estate signs and you see the writers, the name writers that are on the signs, if you really pay attention to that, you usually see the same names. And that's because these are people that have dedicated themselves to the real estate business and being realtors, and that's what they do for a living. But most realtors are people that are part-time. They have a full-time job somewhere. They got a real estate license to enhance that job or something to do on the side. Or the worst motivation that I've heard is, somebody has a job, they weren't intending to get their real estate license, but then they find out that mom or dad or uncle or aunt or sister or brother, whatever, is going to sell their house. So they smell money and they figure, well, let's get me a real estate license, then I can list their house and I'll make a commission off of it. That's not a real motivation, folks, because those are what I call the one deal wonders. They do one real estate deal. They usually do it haphazardly or incorrect because they're not experienced in doing it. They're not really representing the person as best they possibly can. And then they basically do no more business. So you need to be very careful about that. And I'm not slamming part-time agents. There are some very good part-time agents that are out there, but they do have a mainstay for income and they do real estate on the side. The full-time realtor is the individual that's made a 100% commitment to the real estate industry. Now, these individuals not only make their living through commissions of helping people buy houses and sell houses, but they also get very involved in the real estate industry. I have to use myself as an example. Those of you that watch the show, I know I like to talk about myself. So in my particular case, that's what I did for many, many years. And then I got involved in my local association, served on a number of different committees that do different things in the community, became a vice president, became a president-elect, became president, and then eventually Realtor of the Year. And that's kind of how my career path went with the local association. You do find a lot of other individuals that are involved.
Real estate professionals are in a unique position that most working professionals never face. They often share their contact information openly with others, meet unknown clients, and walk through vacant properties, to name a few. It's because of the unique nature of this business that it's critical for all real estate professionals to have a personal safety protocol in place that they follow every day, with every client, every time. And that includes with you. So, what kind of safety protocols might your real estate agent take? When meeting you for the first time, your agent might not meet you at the property right away without first having an initial meeting at the office, regardless of you or your agent's gender. You wouldn't want to meet a stranger at an unknown location, would you?
Hey, how you doing?
No. During the initial meeting, your agent may make copies of your driver's license and pre-approval letter for their records. This precaution allows the agent to keep a record at the office of who his or her clients are and a calendar of appointments. When first meeting with your agent, you'll also discuss the types of real estate you're interested in and walk you through the process. Now your agent can arrange showings, meet you at properties, and schedule open houses to help you through the biggest financial decision of your life. When viewing a property, your agent may ask that you drive separately. Please don't be offended. This is a safety precaution for you as much as it is for your agent. Not to mention you may both have appointments to go to afterward.
Hey, this is cute.
When viewing a property, you may need to sign in with your name and phone number or show a photo ID. This is so the seller's agent knows who entered the house. If you were opening your home to strangers, you'd want to know who was there too. As you tour a property, your agent may walk behind you. This is not only a routine safety measure, it also allows you to see the room first and make your own impressions. And many agents won't go into attics, garages, or basements, but feel free to look around and let your agent know what you thought. If you want to see a property that's vacant,
It's got potential.
your agent may only show it during daylight hours. Vacant properties should be seen during the day when you can see what safety hazards may exist, like a loose floorboard or any defects the house may have, like mold. When showing your property or hosting an open house. Before opening your home to potential buyers, your agent may ask you to board your pets and remove jewelry, family photos, credit card receipts, artwork, prescription drugs, and valued possessions from the home. This is just one way your agent is looking out for you to keep your property and belongings secure. Your agent may bring a colleague to host your open house. If there are several potential buyers walking through the home, even better to have 2 agents on hand to answer questions and keep an eye on things. Safety is an important part of real estate, and we appreciate you respecting the protocols and processes that have been put into place to keep you and your agent safe.
This is the portion of the real estate show I call the real estate mailbag. It's my opportunity to answer questions that are sent in here to the real estate show, or just answer questions when I'm out and about. The other day I was in a grocery store and I had my name tag on. I had my name, said I was a realtor, and that usually sparks some conversations. And as I'm standing in line waiting to pay for my groceries, I'm talking to a couple of individuals that asked me if I thought as a realtor whether it was a buyer's market or a seller's market. Now, if you've read any of the literatures out there, they'll tell you that right now it's still a buyer's market. I mean, even though interest rates are going up, inventories are still smaller than what they should be, but inventories are going to increase. So whether we're going to see it change from a buyer's market to a seller's market, where the sellers will be in control and could demand higher prices on their homes, we're still looking to see if that's going to happen. But in either case, what I always say to everybody is when you decide to get in the market, make sure that you sit and you talk with a realtor. The realtor has their pulse on the industry and what's going on and can basically discuss with you if it's the right time and if it's the right time for you. My name is Rick Naples and this has been The Real Estate Show. I thank you very much for watching. See you next time.